Going on, everybody? This is going to be a really quick video. It's not going to be long, but it's really just to kind of give a perspective of really what the actual energy is of Pluto going into Aquarius in the most non fear-mongering, most non-future prediction-based way possible. Even though some things that may be happening are some sort of correlation to Pluto going into Aquarius, you have to understand the actual archetype and break these down to a science to where when you understand from this perspective, when you see these events play out and everything, or even just circumstances in your life for the next 15, 20 years, this is going to be why. This is going to be that energy. Pluto. So Pluto, just by the archetype of itself, Pluto deals with transformation, positive or negative, death and rebirth, positive or negative, rejuvenation, positive or negative. When we think about Pluto, we're thinking about the aspect of Scorpio, the 8th house. It's not the main ruler of Scorpio, but it's one of the rulers. So Pluto has this energy of, like I said, transformation. Also deep connectivity beyond the 7th house of deep, shallow relationships. Of shallow relationships. Going below the surface and having a deeper connection and understanding with an individual, especially if someone you're involved with romantically, to the point to where no other person, the way y'all interact, like no one can interact like y'all how y'all interact, because it's so deep and below the surface. That's the energy of Pluto. You know what I'm saying? When we get past all the mythology of it and everything, it is just simply transformation and the renewing of whatever it is, your mind, your body, your muscles. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we deal with Mars, which rules the muscles, and Mars and Pluto both rule Scorpio. So when we deal that interaction and relationship plays out also. Pluto being in Aquarius, though, Aquarius, the whole archetype of Aquarius is it's a temperament. Aquarius isn't temperament. And the 11th house, which Aquarius came from the 11th house, is a way of how we interact with the world, is an area of life. The 11th house deals with technology, this computer I'm using right now to broadcast myself, which is that relationship that the 10th and the 11th house have with each other because they're both ruled by Saturn. And Saturn, the 10th house deals with your status and how you broadcast yourself, what I'm doing right now. But it's with a form of technology. Aquarius, back in the day, you would have to go onto a podium, which is more structure of the earth element, in order to communicate or broadcast themselves. But then with the revolutionary technologies of radio, television, the internet, now we deal with the 10th house on a higher octave, which is the 11th house. And now this deals more with like associations. But this just deals with the area of life where you're just walking, like going downtown and you're just around everybody and you're not really communicating with these people. These are just people that are associated with what you're doing, which is going downtown to do whatever you're going to do. So when you think about it like that, it takes away all of the mundane aspects. Even though mundane astrology is necessary, when you understand things from this lens, you're able to understand the real world better. And astrology doesn't just have this like spookism of just being like pseudoscience and everything. You can see these things happening in your real life. Because I can look back in my life way before I knew what astrology or Aquarius, Cancer, 11th, 12th house was and shit like that, and see these circumstances play out in my real life. Period. And even when I'm not even actively thinking about astrology, I'm seeing circumstances play out. Then I go back to the charts of these circumstances that happen and be like, oh, that's exactly why that played out the way it did. Now, Pluto, like I said, Pluto being in Aquarius, like I said, this isn't really going to be like a long video because if I just explained it just simple like that, the video would shut off. But Pluto, again, transformation, rejuvenation, and Aquarius. And Aquarius is a temperament. And the temperament that Aquarius is it's fixated air, which air deals with thinking like earth, but verbal communication, which separates it from the earth element. So now, fixated air. So when you think about this, this this is a stubborn individual. When we're thinking about it in a temperamental state. So you being fixed air, you only want to communicate what you want to communicate. You're not going to let anybody else get their thoughts, ideas, their word out. This is a person who cuts off people a lot when they're talking in conversation. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm actually guilty. I've been guilty of this before. But when you know these things about yourself, you won't fall so much into being guilty. You'll just understand that that's your temperament, and you'll know that, okay, I know that's who I am. Let me regulate this. Let me tap into other energies. Let me tap into my opposite sign. In this case, it would be Leo. Well, anyway, we're not talking about just Aquarius. We're talking about Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius, we're transforming the way of how we're fixated on only what we want to talk about. Stubborn in the way that we want to communicate our thoughts and ideas and everything like that. This is all being transformed. So in a lot of different ways, this is the whole energy signature of people becoming a little more open-minded. For the better or for the worse. That's the basic archetype of Pluto going into Aquarius right now. People's fixated thoughts and verbal communications are going to change. So when you think about this too, it could be open-mindedness, but since it's Pluto and sometimes the 8th house deals, not even sometimes, the 8th house does deal with behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? AKA what's inside this closet right here, of what's unseen. One second. Pluto going to Aquarius, all this is going to be transformed. But a lot of people that you may even know in your life may appear to be fake because they don't understand what's going on. Because this is a generational planet. This is a planet that's so far out and it's affecting us on such a global level that you're going to be noticing this in like every aspect of your life, basically. More so even where you have Pluto in your house system, this is going to be the area where you see the most like transformations at. So overall, people's ways of thinking are going to be transformed. But the way of how it plays out in your individual life, it plays out in the house system. So I'm not going to go down all the houses, but if you understand where you have Pluto in your house, you can probably take this and correlate it with that. For example, 12th house. Pluto going into your 12th house, people's like thoughts are going to be transformed, but it's going to be dealing with the area of life when it comes to like your subconscious. You're going to be subconsciously thinking that people are changing or switching up on you, and that it may not be that, but it is going to be the energy of people's are going to be a little more open-minded in regards to whatever they're into, and you're just going to be able to pick up on this energy because it's such a global transformation of Pluto going to Aquarius and shit. Pluto going into Aquarius. And like I said, if it's the 10th house, you're going to see people's mind change, or you may feel some sort of like unsure feeling of people switching up when it comes to like how people view you, possibly because the 10th house deals with status. But anyway, that's basically what Pluto in Aquarius represents. The transformation and the rejuvenation of our fixated thoughts. So we may be a little more open-minded, and it may appear that other people might switch up on us. So you got to be very careful and understand the temperament of what's going on. This is going to be happening for the next 15, 20 years. So better get used to it. All right, take it easy.